AI and ChatGPT does not have to be overwhelming because right now it seems like if you're looking for a course or looking to get familiar with the tool, it's either going to be we have a million different prompts for you for every type of situation that can help you. And that's really overwhelming because now you have to sort through a million different things to make a decision on what's right for you. Or they're talking about how you can code in Python to tap and create a chatbot in OpenAI or ChatGPT, or use a technical version, technical training for the software. Or it's, hey, let's get rich quick using AI tools and build online courses and do all the marketing and stuff. And most people aren't in those industries or don't have that focus, right? You want something simple, you want something easy to understand, you want to implement something very easily, and you want to find something practical that this can help you with. And that's what we're going to talk about in today's video. So I'm Sean Butner. I'm a certified high performance coach. I have a 15-year career in tech before being a coach. So this is a good conglomeration of my experiences and tools. And right now, ChatGPT and AI is everywhere, and I'm sure you've heard about it. But what's really important is there's an opportunity for any professional in corporate, if you're running your own business, therapists, coaches, doctors, logistics specialists, everyone is going to have their job impacted by this tool in the next year. And the question and opportunity is, are you going to be the one leading it in your organization, or is it going to be somebody else? And say this, and I say this a little bit with a smile, AI is not going to replace you at your job, but somebody using AI probably will if you are not taking advantage of it right now. So we really need to be focusing on this. And there's so many different use cases where we could talk about on how this could practically impact you. But let's take a teacher, right? I have a friend who's a AP English teacher in Illinois. And you think, okay, teacher, it's all about the relationship with the student. They're going to be safe from ChatGPT and AI. But teachers' jobs are really going to be impacted by this. One, because students will be using it to write papers, and they're either going to spend a lot of energy policing and trying to figure out how to undo it, or they're going to lean into it and say, how do we get the educational outcomes of critical thinking, of vetting and understanding information, of knowing what is a good response versus bad, and those type of critical thinking skills, and focus on using the tools to do that. But in particular, right? So it's a very relationship building thing. You have students that are going to be using this. My buddy was saying that their district decided to do a new lesson plan on a new book, right? So they're going to analyze, I'm going to mess up the title. It's like When the Emperor's Divide, I think. It was about internment camps in World War II. And he's talking me through this, and he's like, okay, so I'm on this committee to help roll this out to the district, right? So the district made the decision to do this book. He's like, okay. And so we had a meeting, we're divvying up different tasks, and he volunteers to say, I'll do all the themes and I'll do it by myself. And he's like, I'll come back in an hour and share something. And everyone's kind of like crazy, right? Because this type of work normally would take a teacher in that particular district 5 hours, according to my friend. And so in 15 minutes, he hits ChatGPT. He's familiar with this book, When the Emperor's Divide. Guys, can you give me the 3 top themes for this? And he's like, okay, one of them's loss. One of them is whatever. And he's like, okay, loss. What are 10 different types of loss related to this book? And it spits it out. And so in a half hour, he comes back. So early from when he said, hey, I'll be back in an hour. He's okay, I did this in ChatGPT, and I now have 3 main themes that we can explore. There are 10 points for each of these themes. And my homework after this right now is to vet this and make sure that it's accurate and make sure that there's some educational value to this. And again, he said, I could charge the school district 5 hours-ish for this work that I did in 15 minutes. And now the follow-up work is fun, like analytical stuff. And that is a prime example of how something that's relationship-based is going to, from the side, be attacked by OpenAI. And you can either be the teacher that's generating all these, in this particular case, generating all these different lesson plans and angles and trying to engage students with this tool, or you could be the person that is doing one lesson plan fully vetted and planned out in a week instead of doing it in a day. So this is a prime example of why it's really important to be familiar with these tools. It's really important to really be playing around with it so that you can, one, have educated discussions about it in your profession, because you will be talking about it at some point. And two, the, you don't want to be the person, you don't show up to work one day and there's one person that is a high performer, is leaning into this tool, and all of a sudden is super prolific in their output. Management's like, why are you so prolific? And it's like, oh, I'm using this tool to enhance my work. And now I'm doing the work of 3 teams versus 1. Because I think that reality is possible. You want to be the person that's doing that, and you want to be the person that is sharing that with the folks around you. It's really powerful. So that said, I want to say that AI is not a one-size-fits-all solution. So this isn't going to completely replace it. There's going to be new skills and new ways that we're applying it. So you could think of it as, if you had to screw something into the wall, you could use a screwdriver, or you could use a power tool, right? Power tool will be quicker. You have to know how it works and how to charge it and things like that. But after that initial learning curve, it's super simple. Either have power in the drill or not, and away you go. And AI is going to be that next level of tool for a lot of written things. So if there's a brainstorming function, if there is a writing function, this can accelerate your output by a lot. So also to consider is, there a lot of the work, the initial brainstorming can be sped up, but vetting responses, making sure they're accurate, making sure that it's not just made up BS, that it's applicable. If you're running your own business and you are the brand, that things are in your own voice, and there are techniques that you can do to make sure that's true. But you really need to be aware that there's a lot of analysis work, right? So you're becoming more of an editor than a creator, right? The creation part is taking a shorter time, but the editing and kind of bolting it all together afterwards is the bulk of the work. And I also want to say that tools like ChatGPT and AI are not going to replace expertise. And what do I mean by that? I mean that if you are an expert programmer, you'll ask the AI better questions than you are if you're a beginner. So how you ask questions is vitally important. And that'll rely on your experience. That'll still rely on your level of expertise. It might help you punch above your weight class. So if you're a beginner programmer, you might be able to do a little more intermediate work in an organization, say, but you can learn very quickly with the tool, but that learned experience and that your perspective is still going to be something that's guiding this tool. Because I believe these are AI enhanced professionals and not an AI professional, right? So it's a tool, again, that extends your ability and helps you get things done quicker and with less work, right? So you can bump up in that skill level. So now, with that all said, here are 3 things to be doing right now. And the first thing is to play with ChatGPT, right? And I say play intentionally, right? It should be something where the stakes are low, where you can goof around without worrying about impact. And it should be a little bit of fun. So how that worked out for me in running my coaching business was, I decided to, when I do content like this, be in a transcript, I put in ChatGPT and I'm like, hey, could you summarize this? And then I'm like, oh, could you write a blog post? And I'm like, oh, that's really fun. And it saved me a ton of time, and just something naturally that I was doing anyways. I'm like, I'll spend 5 minutes just seeing what it can do. And I'm like, okay, I'll spend the next hour fixing what they did to what I need it to be for my business. And that's playing around. It's just asking a question, seeing what happens, not being attacked. I didn't go into it thinking like, I'm going to use this for a blog. Oh, Could you summarize this for me? This is really good. Could you take the summary and then expand it into a long? Oh, this is really great. And so on and so forth. There's nothing you can do asking this system that's going to break stuff. So have fun and just get in the game. It'll help you. And if you're still feeling overwhelmed with this tool, if you're feeling overwhelmed with how it's going to impact your job, I want to let you know that coming up in about 2 weeks, on June 16th, I'm going to be doing an hour-long live Zoom training called ChatGPT for Professionals, and it's for beginners, right? So if you are curious about this tool, if you really want to make sure that you are leading your organization with its use, and you're like, hey, again, there's so much information out there, I don't even know where to start. This is made for you. And being a high performance coach, I'm focused on helping people be more productive in general. And this is just one of the tools we can use. So I have that high performance process to help you out with, and it's very people focused, right? I am in my career in tech, it is very important to be very people focused because people use the technology, people maintain the technology, people build it. So it all ends up with people, and having that type of mindset really helped me promote it and build a career in tech, which is weird because you think it'd be programming, but no, it was more being aware of how it impacts people. And part of that is making sure that when you explain things, that it's easy to understand, that it's not overly filled with AI jargon or tech jargon. And ultimately, like, nobody cares about how it all works. It's more, what can it do for me? And so that's what we're going to answer for you in this 1 hour thing. We'll talk about the basics of ChatGPT without all that tech overwhelm. We'll talk about how to craft effective prompts to get the most out of ChatGPT. And then I'll share a unique framework that I have for extracting industry best practices for whatever industry you are. So the idea is not to give you 100 different prompts for 100 different scenarios, but to give you a template that you can think through, craft yourself, refine, and then crush whatever you got to do. I believe this can 10 or 100 times your productivity. So join me for that conversation. I'd love to answer any questions you have. I'd love to hear more stories about how you're using it if you already are, and really just start building a community around how to do this ethically and with that positive impact, and just being able to do more and have more value added into the world. Okay. So, yeah. If you're interested, wherever you're watching this, below this video, you can sign up, and we'll go into the second point, right? So the first point is to just get in the game, play with ChatGPT. The second is to identify some type of process that you want to accelerate with, right? So think of brainstorming, think of anything you're doing with text or anything that could be done with text. So like I mentioned before, when I do a video like this, I'll get a transcript, right? And so from that transcript, I'm able to generate a bunch of different forms of it, of that discussion, of this discussion, thinking that in out, crazy. But what that'll do is I can have a short summary of what this content is, which you'll see that below on the YouTube channel. I'll have a couple of different social media posts you can create from this video based on that transcript. And so knowing one thing, right? I'm not saying improve everything. I'd say pick something that takes you a lot of time and see if you can use this tool to speed up your productivity there. And if you're a professional and you're like, I'm a doctor or a therapist, like you're writing emails all the time, maybe you could create a template and have ChatGPT help you craft a more clear, concise communication to a parent, to a client, to a patient. It could be something as simple as that. It could be like, oh, I spend a lot of time trying to summarize information. And that could be something where you have to summarize web page stuff, or you have a white paper and you could throw that in there and say, could you summarize this in 10 main points for me? And just get into that. But is there something you're working with in text you might be able to accelerate, or you're curious, right? It doesn't even have to work. And I'm going to say there's a lot of things that will not work when you try them with this tool, but part of the fun, that's part of the play, that's part of getting in the game. And I know that you'll find something if you keep trying that will be helpful, because this play, we still haven't scratched the surface of everything we can do with these tools. Okay. Third thing to do is spend 30 minutes using ChatGPT to help clarify the output of your process. Again, using your content as input. So if you want to, you're trying to craft an email response to a teammate on a project, ask ChatGPT, hey, I need to decline this extra work because I don't have bandwidth. Could you help me with that response? Ask me any follow-up questions. And that key question that you can put in the ChatGPT, ask me any follow-up questions, is one of the more underutilized features, I think, right now of it. But that'll help you get more clear. It'll identify, well, what's the outcome you want for this email or whatever. So that's super helpful. But anyone could spend 30 minutes playing around with this. I encourage you to do that. And then fourth point, bonus point here, is to have a conversation. And again, the question that I just shared with was like, how can I, what ask me any clarifying questions for this? Or how can I write this more concisely? Or what am I leaving out that might be relevant to this email? And it'll provide ideas for you. Maybe they're right, maybe they're wrong. That's part of the analysis work of figuring out if it's going to be helpful or not, but it is fun. So I don't want to overemphasize the fun aspect. I think that's why a lot of people are excited about it. I think you'd be surprised at how easy and not mystical it really is. Remember, you don't have to be overwhelmed using these tools. You have an amazing opportunity to enhance your work, to be a leader, productivity leader in whatever profession you're at, in whatever organization you are. Again, if you are looking for some extra help, there's that live training that you can sign up for below this video. But this is Sean Butner. Like, you guys got this. I hope you're excited. You're looking forward to playing with the tool, seeing what it can do for you. And I'd love if you'd comment below what you've used ChatGPT for, what you'd like to use it for. I can make more content like this one, but I'm just super curious what you guys are all doing for this. So if you do me that favor, that'd be great. But go out there, play around with this tool, see how it might impact and perform or help you perform better in one of your work tasks this week, and report back. It'd be great. That's it. See you guys next week. This is Sean Butner signing out.